Hey guys, this is Paul, and today I'll be looking at one of our mentees, Natasha's videos, where she'll be reading off of her personal statement that got her into Warwick, UCL, and Imperial. So this is super exciting. Let's take a look at it.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Tiara Putri. I've currently been accepted to universities such as Imperial College London, UCL, Warwick, HKU, HKUST, and today I will be sharing with you guys one of my personal statements that allowed me to get into the UK universities such as Imperial, UCL, and Warwick. Let's start, shall we?
Okay, so yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what she wrote in her essay.
From the laparoscopic appendectomy surgery to the blood test that uncovered my family's thalassemia genes, I could not help but imagine the situation decades back when surgeries and technologies we deem standard today had not existed.
Okay, so this is a strong opening, right? So we already have a bunch of highly technical terms, right? I'm guessing that, oh, she's gonna be studying something related to this. Yeah, we can see that there is a bit of personal information there. She shares about her thalassemia, which is a blood disease, and so there is already that on one hand a scholarly aspect to her essay, but also something very personal. There's a personal voice that we can see. Okay.
Sooner or later, technologies like AI in surgeries or stem cell transplants would be available as new options for patients, even deeming today's incurable diseases curable. These examples make me realize how biomedicine, engineering, and technology combined can create such a major, widespread impact.
Yeah, okay. So already in her opening paragraph, there is a very clear sense of purpose. Oh, okay, this is what I want to study, and this is why I'm excited about it. There is that, personal touch, oh, this is something that is relevant to me personally because of my, the thalassemia that runs in my family. But there's also that sense of, oh, I am ready to, I have the academic chops to be able to study this at the academic level, at the university level.
The frequent exposure of medical issues stemmed my motivation to contribute to the health industry. After my grandfather's transvenous implantation in 8th grade, I found enthusiasm in YouTube channels like Gebruder Bet's Medical Animation and Fuse School, carefully watching this intricate procedure my grandfather went through. After he was diagnosed with lung cancer, reading Emperor of the Melodies by Siddhartha Mukherjee gave me hope as I learned how advanced our current understanding of treating cancer really is. When my family was diagnosed with minor thalassemia, I was inspired to write a review paper on newly FDA-approved drugs for sickle cell disease, finding out options like voxelotor and crizanlizumab, which may ameliorate the disease more efficiently compared to the widely used hydroxyurea. This drove me to apply to biomedical engineering, as contributing to the health field supported by my math and science skills is my biggest goal in mind.
Okay, so obviously I can see that she's very, very smart, very, very academic. It's clear that she's done her research. So we can see that she knows a lot more about the diseases that have impacted her family and herself at such a great extent. So that's interesting. I think, obviously, this is a very strong personal statement already. But if I could make it a little bit better, to make it a little bit clearer, I would probably make the transition between those two major events in her life, a little bit more discreet. Just make sure that there is a clear transition or a clear connection from one event to the next. Because right now it seems that thalassemia diagnosis and the story of her grandfather, right? Those two, we're not quite sure how they're connected or how they have impacted her differently. So I think I would try to make that clear. Oh, another thing that I really like about this section is that she talks a lot about the additional resources, right? The outside sources that she looked at, from authors to scientists to all of these YouTube channels. So yeah, I can see that like from her, there is this drive and there's this like hunger for knowledge. And she's not just like waiting around for people to spoon feed her with information, but there is that desire to learn more, that initiative that makes her a good candidate for scholarly pursuits in biomedical engineering.
I first improved my analytical skills and determination to create solutions, especially in mathematics and physics. Joining CMO in 7th grade introduced me to new and unfamiliar theorems such as the telescoping series and Heron's formula, while the recent University of Waterloo's Cayley competition presented me with in-depth graphical and probability problems. I further explored physics, observing how mathematical operations became the foundation of so many principles like fields and thermal physics. This newfound interest led me to teach IGCSE physics in school clubs as well as competing in the 2021 Asian Physics Olympiad. I got to touch upon the medical world through the National Medical and General Biology competition held by the University of Indonesia. There, I analyzed various clinical case studies ranging from hepatitis to different stages of COPD using spirometer. A webinar held by lung specialist Dr. Erlina Burhan allowed me to learn the newest findings in COVID-19 viruses, as well as vaccine that.
Okay, so wow, this is just impressive. Not only does she have like all of these amazing experiences in her CV, but I like that she doesn't just say like, oh, you know, I competed in this like international academic competitions that are like super competitive. But she also talks about like what she learned from those competitions and how she sort of like applies that, you know, outside of the competition, like by teaching other people, by teaching other students. I think like that shows not only her academic capacity, right? Not just that she's smart academically, but also shows that she actually cares about other people. She, you know, wants to serve like the cause that's greater than herself. She wants to give back to the community. I think that's really important. So not just showing that you're very smart, but also showing part of your, you know, personality and, you know, that you care about other people. Another thing that I really liked about like the way she sort of weaves all of these experiences into this paragraph is that we can see how like these things are connected, and we can see how like her interests in, you know, physics and math are integral, and they're part and parcel of her experience with like the health industry,
which I honed through World Scholars Cup and directing multiple Broadway-style plays in my school. I also grew to value teamwork and management skills by co-founding an organization named Life Online, which aims to educate Indonesian youth on life science topics such as immunology and biotechnology.
Okay, wow. This is really interesting. I think what I really like about like this section is that she's showing off the skill set that she has that might be unusual for engineers, right? Usually when we think of engineers, we think of them as this, you know, social misfits, you know, don't really know how to communicate. But here, like we can see that she has just a lot of leadership skills, really strong communication skills as well. She can actually work together with other people. She can manage other people and lead them. And like the fact that she's directing Broadway style plays shows that she's not just, you know, engineering minded, but there's that creativity, like the more artsy aspect to, you know, her interests as well. And yeah, I can really see there is that three-dimensionality in her profile. So wow, like she's the whole package.
Despite these experiences, it became clear that I have only covered the tip of the iceberg, far from sufficient to advance the health industry that I aspire to do.
Yeah, this is just like explicitly, you know, trying to hone in on that humility of hers, right? Like, you know, like given all of her experiences, she realized that this is only like the tip of the iceberg, and that she has so much more to learn, which I agree. And it's I think so inspiring and also just like so impressive for someone so young to have this sort of self-awareness and like mature perspective. So yeah.
This was reinforced after joining an international research team competition by Iowa State University, where we proposed gene silencing of mosquitoes' cactus protein to eradicate lymphatic filariasis in Indonesia. After winning the most voted award, I realized that without increasing my depth of comprehension, ideas like this will stay on paper. Going to the UK.
Okay, honestly, this is so insane, and I'm not surprised that she got into all of those top schools now. Yeah, so when you're applying to like a country like the UK that emphasizes so much on your academic and research experience, like the fact that she's already writing this paper and like that she got voted as the most voted award. That's very, very impressive. And I think what I like about this as well is that she realizes that this is how going to the UK will also help her achieve her goal. Right? So there is that clear sense of purpose, and there's this understanding of like the steps that she actually needs to take in order to achieve her goal.
Ideas like this will stay on paper. Going to the UK, a country known for world-leading research for biomedical engineering, will provide a challenging yet collaborative environment that will lead me to improve the healthcare industry in the future. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video will inspire you in your application process. Good luck!
Yeah, wow. Yeah, honestly, I'm just really, really impressed. Yeah. Again, like not surprised that she got into like so many of the top schools in the UK. So like really, really strong sense of academic curiosity. I think like that's one thing that I can see from her personal statement. I can see like a lot of good experiences as well. She clearly knows how to do research. She's done, on top of that, she's done a lot of these leadership activities. She has a lot of leadership experiences. She's clearly like a good communicator. And also there's that humility that just permeates the entirety of this personal statement. Honestly, it's such a delight to read. And just from reading her personal statement, it's apparent that she's not simply like a good scholar, not just like a good student, but also someone that would actually be fun and pleasant to hang out with. All right, how was that? I hope you guys learned as much from Natasha's essay as I did, because honestly, that's really, really good. I really, really enjoyed reading that. So yeah, if you guys are struggling with your essays and you guys want to learn how to write better and you guys want some tips and tricks to improve your UK personal statement, you can actually download our free guidebook from the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys in our next video. Bye!